My stomach flipped hard as the subway rocked and my hand went up to my throat like it had a mind of its own. A stranger grabbed my wrist, gentle but fast, and hissed, "Take that necklace off." Right now? I stared at him like, "Who the hell are you?" Then he looked at the pendant and went pale. He wasn't some random creep. Clean coat, neat beard, sharp eyes that clock details like a scanner. He had a little jeweler's loop clipped to his pocket like it belonged there. "Ma'am," he said, low and urgent, "I'm not trying to scare you, but that pendant, it's wrong." My fingers curled around the necklace out of pure reflex. "Back off," I snapped, voice shaky. "Don't touch me." He released my wrist instantly and raised both hands. "Fair, my bad, I'm sorry, he pointed not at me but at the jewelry. "Look, the seam on the edge." "That's not normal work." I swallowed, my mouth tasted like pennies. The nausea had been hitting me every morning for months, like clockwork. I'd wake up sweating, throat tight, stomach rolling like I'd swallowed a wave. Doctors ran tests, shrugged, said stress, hormones, diet, maybe anxiety. I wasn't anxious, I was just sick, and nobody could tell me why. The man nodded toward my neck again. "Please just unclasp it, don't yank it." Slow. The train screeched into the next station, doors opened. People shoved past like we were furniture. I heard a kid whining, smelled cheap cologne and wet wool, felt the cold air from the tunnel slap my face. "Why do you care?" I asked. "Because I make jewelry," he said, "and I fix it, and I've seen things hidden inside pieces that are supposed to be solid." That word, hidden, hit me like a slap. I hesitated one beat too long. He glanced at the digital sign above the door, then at me. "Come on, get off here, my shop's 2 blocks up, we can look under proper light." I should have told him to kick rocks. I should have stayed on the train and minded my business. But my stomach lurched again, sharp and sour, and my fingertips went numb the way they always did right before I got sick. Like my body was warning me, so I unclasped the chain. The pendant dropped into my palm, heavier than it should have been. It looked pretty, silver teardrop, tiny stones around the edge, my husband's thoughtful taste all over it. The kind of gift that screams, "I'm a good man, see?" The stranger didn't touch it. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a clean cloth like he'd done this 1,000 times. "Put it on that," he said. I did. My hands shook. He leaned in with his loop and his face tightened like he'd bit something bitter. "There," he muttered. Tiny hairline split. "And yeah, there's something under the stone, a little window." My heart started pounding so loud I could barely hear the train announcement. "A window?" I echoed. He looked up at me. "You've been feeling sick, haven't you? Like morning sickness, but not that." My throat went dry. "How do you know that?" He tapped his own chest once like I'm not guessing. "Because people don't grip their stomach like that unless they're trying not to puke on public transit." I let out a short laugh that wasn't funny at all. "Every morning," I admitted, voice cracking. "For months." His eyes flicked to the pendant again. "Yeah, then we need to look at this properly." We walked out together. I stayed half a step behind him, still not sure if I was being smart or dumb. The street air was colder than the subway and it made my skin prickle. My stomach eased, not gone but quieter, like someone had turned the volume down. That alone scared me more than anything. His shop was small, tucked between a nail place and a deli. A little bell rang when we stepped in. It smelled like metal and lemon cleaner. Bright white lights made everything look too sharp. He locked the door behind us, not dramatic, just careful, then set the cloth with the pendant on a glass counter. "I'm Gabriel," he said, "and before you ask, no, I'm not trying to sell you anything." "I'm Maya," I said automatically because my brain was stuck in polite mode even though my world was wobbling. Gabriel put on thin gloves and took out a magnifier lamp. He didn't rush, he didn't play hero, he just moved like someone who respected danger. He angled the light, lifted the pendant, and turned it slowly. Then he let out a quiet, angry breath. "Oh, hell no," he whispered. My stomach dropped again. "What?" He rotated it so I could see. Under the stones, beneath a layer that looked decorative, was a tiny dark dot, not a gem, not a flaw. A little round eye staring back. Gabriel set it down like it might bite. "That's not jewelry," he said. "That's a device." My skin went ice cold. My hand flew to my bare neck like I could still feel the chain there. "A device for what?" I asked, already knowing I wasn't gonna like the answer. Gabriel didn't answer right away. He just looked at me, really looked, and said, "Who gave you this?" And in my head, my husband's voice popped up, smooth as butter. "Wear it every day, it's lucky, it's for us." I heard myself say his name out loud, and the second I did, my phone buzzed in my pocket. A text from him. "Why aren't you wearing it?" My blood went cold because I hadn't told him I took it off. Not a word, not even a hint. And that's when I realized the necklace wasn't just making me sick, it was telling him where I was and what I was doing in real time. My thumbs went numb around my phone. That text sat there like a little knife. "Why aren't you wearing it?" I looked at Gabriel. He didn't even try to hide his face. He looked sick for me. "You didn't tell him," he said. "I didn't tell him," I whispered back. The door to his shop felt too thin. The glass front felt like it could shatter. I pictured my husband, Ethan, somewhere warm and calm, holding a coffee, checking a screen, smiling like he owned me. Gabriel kept his voice low. "Don't reply yet, think." My mouth went dry. "He's gonna call." "Let him," Gabriel said, "but you keep it normal, you act like nothing's wrong." I stared at the pendant on the cloth. Under bright light, it didn't look romantic anymore. It looked like a trap wearing a pretty dress. I swallowed hard. "What kind of device is it?" Gabriel shook his head, careful. "I'm not touching it more than I have to, but that little eye, it could be tracking audio something. And the seam tells me it was opened and sealed back up." A wave of anger rose in me, hot and fast, and I almost laughed. That's insane, but my body didn't feel insane. My body felt right. Like it had been screaming at me every morning and I'd been calling it drama. I grabbed the phone again. New buzz, a call this time. ETHAN, my chest tightened. I answered with the most normal voice I could fake. "Hey," his tone was sweet. Too sweet? "Morning, babe, you okay?" I glanced at Gabriel. He nodded once like keep it calm. "Yeah," I said, "just running around." A pause, then Ethan chuckled softly. "You sound out of breath." "Subway," I lied. Another pause, longer. I could hear faint sounds behind him, maybe a TV, maybe a kitchen, normal life sounds, like he wasn't doing anything wrong at all. "Where's your necklace?" he asked, still friendly. My stomach flipped. I forced a little laugh. "What necklace?" "The one I gave you," he said, like he was reminding a kid. "You wear it every day, don't tell me you lost it." "No," I said quickly. "I didn't lose it." "Then why aren't you wearing it?" he asked. There it was again, the same question, like he'd practiced it. I stared at the pendant. Gabriel slid it a little farther away from me, like it could hear. I went with the simplest lie. The clasp was snagging my hair. I took it off for a bit. Ethan exhaled like he was relieved. "Okay, just don't take it off in public, all right? I'd hate for someone to steal it." My skin crawled. Not because of the words, but because of how smooth they were, like he'd already built the story he wanted me to live in. "Sure," I said. "I'll put it back on when I'm home." "Good," he said, warm again. "And Maya?" "Yeah, I'm thinking we should do another doctor appointment," he said. "I hate seeing you sick." For a split second, I almost believed him. That's the messed up part. When someone's been your safe place, your brain still reaches for that comfort even while the floor is falling out. "Okay," I whispered. "Love you," he said. "Love you," I said back because my mouth remembered the habit. The call ended. I stood there, shaking. Gabriel watched me for a beat. "He's monitoring you." I rubbed my arms like I could wipe the feeling off. "But why would he do that?" Gabriel didn't answer fast. He asked instead, "When did you start feeling sick?" I didn't even need to think. Right after he gave me this. I remembered the day like it was playing on a screen. Ethan had come home with a little black box and a grin. We'd been fighting that week, money stuff, little sharp comments, the kind that leave tiny cuts. So when he handed me a gift, my heart softened. I thought, okay, he's trying. He'd put it around my neck himself, fingers gentle. "Lips on my forehead, for you," he'd said. "Wear it, it's special." That night I slept like a rock. The next morning I woke up and ran to the bathroom so fast I hit my hip on the doorframe. After that, it became my new normal. Every sunrise, nausea, cold sweat, shaking hands. Some days I threw up, some days I didn't, but I always felt poisoned. Doctors poked, scanned, tested. They found nothing. Ethan acted like the perfect husband. He'd bring me crackers. Rub my back, talk softly. But he also got weird about the necklace. If I forgot it, he'd notice right away. If I tried to leave without it, he'd joke and block the door with his body like a playful bouncer. "Come on," he'd say, smiling, "it's your lucky charm." I used to roll my eyes and put it on. I thought he was being cute. Now it made my throat tighten. Gabriel leaned closer, voice steady. "We need proof, real proof, not vibes. Not fear, something you can hold in your hand." I nodded even though my brain was spinning. How? He pointed toward a back room. I know a guy, tech guy, he doesn't do cops, he does answers. My heart beat hard. Can he open it? Gabriel's eyes went serious. He can, but we have to be smart, because if your husband gets an alert that it's offline or opened, he'll know. My phone buzzed again, a photo message from Ethan. It was a picture of our bedroom dresser, the exact spot where I usually left the necklace when I showered, and under it one line, "Don't forget where it belongs." My hands went ice cold because the photo wasn't old. It was taken right now, and I wasn't home. I didn't even realize I was holding my breath until Gabriel said, "Okay, new rule, your husband doesn't get to see you panic." I stared at the photo on my phone, the dresser, the little ring of dust where my necklace usually sat like a bullseye. My hands felt cold and heavy. "He took that just now," I whispered. Gabriel nodded once. "Yeah, which means he's either at home or he's got eyes in your home." That hit harder than the nausea ever did. I could handle being lied to. I could handle being tracked, but the idea of my own house not being mine anymore, that made my skin crawl. Gabriel grabbed a small metal box from under the counter, plain like a lunch tin. He held it out. "Put the pendant in here." I hesitated. "Won't he notice it's gone?" "He already noticed," Gabriel said, "but if this is sending a signal, we can at least choke it down. Just do it." I placed the pendant inside like it was a bug. The second the lid shut, I felt lighter, not magically cured, just less sick, like my body finally got a break. Gabriel's eyes sharpened when he saw my face. "You feel different." "Yeah," I said, voice thin. "A little?" "That's not in your head," he said. "That's your body telling you the truth." My phone buzzed again. "ETHAN, you okay? You're acting weird." I almost dropped the phone. He hadn't even called, just poked like he was testing a cage. Gabriel leaned in. "Reply simple, keep it sweet." I typed with shaking thumbs, "All good, just tired." 3 dots appeared right away. He was watching the screen as I wrote. Then his reply, "Wear it when you can." "I worry," I muttered. "Yeah, sure." Gabriel didn't smile. "We're not gonna argue with him over text. We're gonna collect proof." "Proof of what?" My voice cracked. "That my husband is a straight-up psycho." Gabriel's tone stayed calm. "Proof that he's controlling you, proof that he's been inside your life without your consent, proof that the necklace is doing something." I swallowed. "Okay. How?" Gabriel picked up the tin with the pendant and slid it into a brown paper bag like it was a sandwich. "Come with me and keep your face normal." "Where are we going?" He glanced at me. "My friend Rico, he fixes phones, cameras, little trackers, all that stuff. He also hates creeps." I followed Gabriel out, my heart beating too fast. The street noise felt louder than usual. Every person brushing past me made me flinch. I kept checking reflections in windows like I'd see Ethan behind me. As we walked, little old moments started popping up in my head, tiny things I'd brushed off. Ethan always randomly showed up places: the cafe I liked, the pharmacy, the gym I went to twice. If I met a friend, he'd ask, "So how's Jenna doing?" even when I hadn't told him I saw Jenna. Once I'd whispered to my sister on the phone, "I might stay with you a few days." 2 hours later, Ethan came home early with flowers and this soft voice, "Let's not make big choices when you're sick." I thought he was loving. Now it felt like he was steering me. We reached a little repair shop with a flickering sign. Inside, a guy in a hoodie looked up from a workbench covered in tiny screws and cracked screens. "Gabriel," he said. "Who's this?" "This is Maya," Gabriel said. "She needs help, like serious help." Rico's eyes moved to my face. He didn't stare in a gross way, he just read me, then he nodded like he'd already decided. "Back room." We went behind a curtain. Rico locked the door. Gabriel set the bag down and pulled out the tin. Rico raised a brow. "What's in the lunchbox?" "Nightmare jewelry," Gabriel said. Rico opened the tin slowly. He didn't touch the pendant right away. He grabbed a small wand-looking tool and swept it over the necklace like he was hunting ghosts. The device started clicking. Rico's face changed. Oh wow," my throat tightened. "What?" He swept it again, more clicking, faster. "That thing is talking," Rico said. "It's sending out a signal, not strong but steady." My stomach rolled. "So he really is tracking me." Rico looked at me. "Tracking, and maybe more." He pulled out another tool, then a tiny flashlight, then a magnifier. He pointed at the dark dot Gabriel had shown me. "That's a lens," Rico said, "not a decoration." My knees went weak. "A lens for what?" Rico looked up, dead serious. A camera. I felt my cheeks go hot. My voice came out small. No, no way. Rico didn't blink. He gently flipped the pendant, pressed a hidden seam, and the back shifted just a hair. A faint smell hit the air, sharp and bitter like burned plastic mixed with something sour. Rico froze. Hold up. He grabbed a swab, rubbed the inside edge, and touched it to a little strip. The strip changed color. Rico's jaw tightened. Yeah, there's residue in here. Residue of what? I asked, barely breathing. Rico didn't answer me right away. He picked up his laptop, tapped a few keys, and nodded toward the pendant. Before we open it fully, he said, you need to hear this. He clicked a file, and my own voice came out of his speakers, my voice in my kitchen weeks ago, soft, exhausted, saying, I can't keep living like this. My blood turned to ice because I'd never recorded that. I stood there frozen while my own voice spilled out of Rico's speakers like a ghost. I can't keep living like this. The words were soft, tired. Real, and they weren't meant for anyone but me. My hands flew to my mouth. Turn it off, I whispered. Rico clicked it off fast. The silence after felt loud. My ears rang. Gabriel's face was tight like he was trying not to swear in front of a kid. Maya, that's your kitchen. I nodded barely. That's my voice. Rico leaned back in his chair. This pendant didn't just track you, it listened. And it saved stuff. I felt heat crawl up my neck. Shame, anger, fear, everything mixed together. So he's been hearing me, watching me. Rico didn't sugarcoat it. Yeah, my stomach twisted. Not the usual sick feeling, this one was pure rage. Why would he do this? Gabriel said it quiet. Control. I stared at the pendant in Rico's gloved hand. It looked so innocent, like a sweet little gift, like love. But now I could see it for what it was, a leash with sparkles. Rico opened it a little more, careful like diffusing a bomb. Inside, I saw tiny parts I didn't even have names for, a little dark chip. A thin strip stuck to the inside wall, a pinhole lens hiding behind the stone. Rico pointed at the strip. This part right here, it's not supposed to be in jewelry. What is it? I asked. Rico hesitated, then chose simple words. Something that can make your skin absorb a little junk, a tiny dose over and over. My mouth fell open. That's why I'm sick. Rico gave a slow nod. It lines up. You wear it every day. You touch it. It sits on your chest. Every morning you feel like trash, and every test comes back fine because it's small, slow. I felt like I might throw up right there. He did this to me. Gabriel's voice went hard. Yes. My phone buzzed again on the table. Rico didn't even look at it. I did. ETHAN, home by lunch, like nothing was wrong, like he wasn't poisoning me and spying on me at the same time. My hands shook so bad I could barely type. Gabriel put his palm flat on the table, grounding me. Listen, he said, we're gonna play this smart. You don't confront him empty-handed. Rico clicked around on his laptop. I'm pulling everything this thing stored. Audio, video, logs, whatever it's got, I'll copy it so it can't disappear if he wipes it. My throat tightened. Can he wipe it? Rico gave me a look like, girl, if he's this deep, yeah, he can try. Gabriel leaned in. We need you to get home and act normal. I stared at him. Normal? I just found out my husband's been watching me like I'm a pet. I know, Gabriel said, but if he feels you pull away, he'll clamp down. Guys like that don't lose control easy. Rico held up the pendant. Here's the problem, he knows when you're not wearing it. My heart sank. So what do I do? Rico thought for a second, then nodded like he'd made a choice. I can make it look the same, feel the same, but make it safe. No more sick strip, no more camera, no more mic. Will he notice? I asked. Rico shrugged. He might. But if he's used to you being sick, he might blame your new energy on a good day. That's the gaslight game. He'll pick whatever story helps him. Gabriel's jaw clenched. And you? I swallowed. I can act. I've been acting for months. Rico worked fast, not flashy, just steady hands, focused eyes. He cleaned the inside like it was dirty money. He removed the strip and sealed the back so it sat smooth again. When he was done, it looked like the same necklace Ethan gave me, same pretty lie. Rico slid it toward me. Put it on, see how you feel. My fingers shook as I clasped it around my neck. 1 minute passed, then 2. My stomach stayed quiet. I blinked hard. Oh my God, Gabriel exhaled like he'd been holding his breath for hours. Yeah, Rico handed me a small drive. This has copies, keep it on you. Not at home. I tucked it into my wallet like it was my last lifeline, then Gabriel walked me out the back way just in case. Cold air hit my face, and for the first time in months, it didn't feel like my body was fighting me. On the ride home, I practiced my face in the dark subway window, soft eyes, small smile, normal wife. I hated how good I was at it. When I opened my front door, Ethan was already in the hallway. He smiled wide. There she is. He stepped close and kissed my cheek. His hand slid to my chest like it belonged there, like he was checking his property. His fingers brushed the pendant, and his smile twitched just for half a second, like something didn't match the picture in his head. "You're wearing it," he said, voice sweet. "Of course," I said, easy. "I told you I would." He stared at me a little too long, then he laughed like I was silly. "Good, I worry about you," I nodded, playing along. "I know." He guided me toward the kitchen, hand on my back, gentle like a shepherd. "I made soup. You look better today." "Yeah," I said, "I feel better." His eyes narrowed just a little. "Huh. That's interesting." I forced a small smile. "Why?" He lifted his phone and tapped the screen. "Because you just said you felt better." He turned it toward me, and on the screen was a live view, my kitchen, my hallway, me standing there, shot from an angle that wasn't the pendant. My blood turned to ice. "But I can still see you," he said softly. I stared at Ethan's phone like it was a snake. On the screen, I could see me standing in our kitchen under our lights, breathing like a scared animal. The angle was high, looking down, not from my necklace, from somewhere in the room. My voice came out thin. "What is that?" Ethan's smile stayed on, but it didn't reach his eyes. "Security. For what?" I asked. My fingers gripped the counter so hard my nails hurt. He tilted his head like I was being silly. "For you, Maya, you've been sick, you faint sometimes, I worry." He tapped the screen. "So I made sure I can check on you." My stomach churned, but not like before. This was pure disgust. "You put cameras in our house," I said. "Our house," he repeated, soft. "Exactly our house. And before you spiral, no, it's not like that." He laughed a little, like I was dramatic. "It's just smart home stuff, everyone does it." My skin went cold. "Why didn't you tell me?" Ethan stepped closer and lowered his voice like he was sharing a secret. "Because you stress yourself out, you overthink, and when you overthink, you get worse." There it was, that smooth little twist. He didn't say I did something wrong. He said your brain is the problem. I forced my face to relax. I had to. If I snapped, he'd clamp down, so I did the thing I hated most. I played dumb. I let my shoulders drop. I gave him a tiny, shaky smile. "Okay, I didn't know, that's all." Ethan's eyes searched my face, not in a loving way. In a hunting way. Then he reached out and touched my pendant like he was checking a tag on a shirt. "And you're wearing this again," he said, sweet as syrup. "Good girl." My chest burned with rage, but I swallowed it down. "Yeah," I said. "It was snagging my hair earlier, that's all." He nodded slowly. "Right." He kissed my forehead. His lips were warm. My skin felt dirty after. "Soup," he said, and guided me to the table. "Eat, you need strength." I sat. I lifted the spoon. My hand shook. Ethan watched me eat like I was a lab rat. "Better today," he said. "That makes me happy." "Me too," I whispered. He leaned back and looked pleased with himself. "See. When you listen to me, things go smoother." I made myself nod. Inside, I was screaming. That night, I waited until Ethan fell asleep. His breathing got deep and slow. I slid out of bed like a thief in my own life. I went to the bathroom, shut the door, and turned on the faucet so he wouldn't hear my whispering. Then I pulled out my wallet and the tiny drive Rico gave me. My fingers were shaking so bad I almost dropped it. I typed a short message to Gabriel from a new email Rico set up for me earlier, one Ethan didn't know. "Maya, he has cameras in the house. He showed me live video, not from the pendant." Gabriel replied fast. "Gabriel. Don't panic, don't confront, we'll handle it." Then my phone buzzed with a new message from Rico. "Rico, he might also be in your phone. Assume he sees texts. Keep everything simple. Meet tomorrow, noon, same shop." I wiped my face with a towel, staring at myself in the mirror. My eyes looked bigger than usual, like someone had turned the fear up inside them. In the morning, I did something I hadn't done in months. I woke up and I didn't feel sick. Not even a little. That alone told me the pendant had been hurting me for real. My body knew the truth before my mind did. Ethan watched me get dressed. He smiled when I put the necklace on. "That's my girl," he said. I smiled back. "Love you," I lied. "Love you," he said, and I could tell he believed he owned that word. At noon, I went to Gabriel's shop. This time I didn't look around like I was lost. I walked in like I had a mission. Gabriel locked the door and led me to the back. Rico was there already, laptop open, eyes sharp. Rico didn't waste time. Okay, he said, we got two problems, the pendant was one. The house is two, Gabriel asked. He show you where the camera is? No, I said, just the screen, high angle. Rico nodded like he expected that. Smoke detector, corner shelf, fake charger, could be anything. My stomach turned. How do I live in my own house with that? You don't, Gabriel said. That hit me hard. I can't just leave, he'll follow me. Rico leaned forward. Then we don't run, we flip the board. I blinked. How? Rico's mouth went flat. We make him think he's still winning while we set a trap that makes him show his hand in front of people who matter. Gabriel's eyes met mine. Not cops, not court. Just consequences. My heart beat hard. Like what? Rico turned his laptop to face me. On the screen was a simple plan with 3 words at the top, make him confess. Then he pointed at the second line, live. My throat went tight. Live where? Rico gave a small, cold smile. At the one place he can't delete it. Gabriel added, quiet and firm, and Maya, it has to look like his idea. I swallowed because I finally understood what they were asking me to do. I would have to sit in my own house under his cameras and bait my husband like he was the animal. And the worst part, I knew exactly what to say to make him bite. Rico looked at me like he could see the fear under my skin. Rule 1, he said, you don't try to outmuscle a control freak, you outsmart him. Gabriel added, and you don't do it alone. I swallowed. So what's the move? Rico pointed at the word on his screen again, live. He said it slow, your husband likes cameras, he likes watching, so we make the camera bite him back. My mouth went dry. How? Rico kept it simple. We set a moment where he thinks he's in charge, where he gets cocky. Where he talks? And people hear him, Gabriel said. I shook my head. If I bring people over, he'll behave. Rico gave a short laugh. Not if you push the right button. I hated how true that sounded. Gabriel leaned in. What does he love more than you? I didn't even have to think. His image. Rico snapped his fingers. Exactly, we don't threaten him, we don't chase him, we make him perform. My stomach turned. So what? A party? Not a party, Rico said. A support dinner, something sweet, something normal, something that makes him look like a hero. I felt my face twist. That's gross. It is, Gabriel said. But it's bait. Rico slid his laptop closer. Who does he care about impressing? I thought for a second. His boss and his boss's wife. He talks about them like they're royalty. Rico nodded. Perfect. My heart beat harder. I can't just invite them, that's weird. Gabriel said, not if it's your idea, you're feeling better. You want to thank them for being so supportive while you've been sick. I stared at the table. My hands were shaking, but my brain was clicking into place. I whispered, he won't be able to resist. Rico pointed at me. Now you're thinking. I took a slow breath. And the live part? Rico kept his voice calm. We make a record that he can't grab from your phone. We make it save somewhere safe. I flinched. Is that legal? Rico held up a hand. I'm not talking cops or court. I'm talking reality, a clean copy. A witness? Gabriel added, we're not here to get him arrested. We're here to ruin the thing he lives for. I felt a cold spark in my chest, not joy, not peace, just a steady, dark focus. Okay, I said. What do I do? Rico leaned back. You go home, you act normal, you get him comfortable, you make him think you're back under his thumb. That word thumb made my jaw tighten. Gabriel touched my shoulder. You can do that? I nodded, even though it hurt. I've been doing it. Rico wrote a few words on a sticky note and slid it to me. Be sweet, be dumb, be safe. I almost laughed, almost. Then Rico looked me dead in the eyes. And if he gets rough, if he corners you, your job is not to win. Your job is to stall. Keep talking, keep breathing, keep him from snapping. My throat tightened. He hasn't hit me. Good, Gabriel said fast. We keep it that way. I left the shop with the necklace on my neck and a plan in my pocket that felt like a match. At home, Ethan was in the living room like he'd been waiting for me. He didn't jump up. He just watched calm like a spider in the middle of its web. Long day? He asked. Yeah, I said, soft, but I feel better. He smiled. You keep saying that. I forced a small laugh. Maybe it's finally passing. His eyes narrowed a little. Maybe. I walked into the kitchen and opened the fridge like I didn't have a bomb in my brain. My hands were steadier than I expected. My body wasn't sick. That helped a lot. Ethan came up behind me and wrapped an arm around my waist. It looked sweet. It felt like a clamp. You know, he said near my ear, I hate when you wander. I kept my voice light. I didn't wander. I just went out. He kissed my cheek. You're safest with me. I turned and gave him the smile he liked, the soft wife smile, the you're my hero smile. I know, I said. That's actually what I wanted to talk to you about. His brow lifted. Yeah, I leaned on the counter like I was shy. I want to do something nice, like a thank you dinner. For who? He asked, but I saw the quick interest spark behind his eyes. For your boss, I said, and his wife. They've been so kind and you've been amazing. I let my voice wobble just a little. I want them to see what a good husband you are. Ethan's smile grew slowly, too slowly, like a door opening. Really? He said. You want that? I nodded. Yeah, I want to show them how you took care of me, how you watched over me. His eyes flicked fast toward the ceiling corner of the room. Then he looked back at me and said, that's a great idea. My pulse kicked because that tiny ceiling glance told me everything. He said, casual, I'll handle the details. I kept my smile. No, I want to help. I want it to be perfect. Ethan's tone stayed sweet, but his grip tightened for half a second. You get tired, let me. I touched his hand like I was grateful, like I didn't notice. Okay, I said. But there's one thing. What? He asked. I looked up at him with wide, innocent eyes and said, the line Rico helped me build. I want you to explain everything to them, like how you kept me safe. Every little thing you did. Ethan blinked once, then he laughed. You want me to brag? He said. I shrugged, playing cute. Kind of, yeah. His smile turned sharp at the edges. All right, he said. If that's what you want, I'll tell them. He leaned in close, voice low. And Maya, he whispered. Yeah, if you're setting me up, he said softly, you're gonna regret it. My blood went cold, but I kept my face smooth. I kissed his cheek and whispered back, I'd never. Then he pulled away and smiled like nothing happened. Dinner this Friday, he said. Wear something nice. He walked off like a king. And I stood there under his hidden cameras, smiling like his perfect wife, while my heart hammered one ugly truth. He wasn't just agreeing to the trap, he was already trying to sniff it out. Friday came fast. All day, Ethan was in a good mood, not normal good. That sharp, shiny good like he'd already won and was just waiting for the trophy. He cleaned the living room twice. He wiped fingerprints off the fridge. He adjusted a throw pillow like it was life or death. Relax, I said, trying to sound soft. He smiled without looking at me. This matters. I kept my voice light. Because it's your boss. Ethan finally looked up. His eyes were bright. Because it's our future. That word, our, made my skin crawl. I went to the bathroom and stared at myself in the mirror. I looked normal. Cute dress, hair done, necklace on, but inside my heart was pounding like a drum. In my pocket was a tiny item Rico gave me, not a weapon, not anything illegal, just a simple way to make sure my own words and his words wouldn't disappear later. Gabriel's voice echoed in my head, be sweet, be dumb, be safe. So I walked out with my soft wife smile. Ethan's eyes tracked me like a camera. You look good, he said. Thanks, I said. You too. He stepped close and fixed the pendant on my chest with 2 fingers, gentle, possessive. Keep that on, he murmured. I smiled like I didn't hear the threat hiding inside the care. Of course, I said. The doorbell rang. Ethan's face changed instantly, warm, open, charming, like a mask snapping into place. He opened the door wide. Mark, Dana, come in, Ethan boomed. Mark was his boss, tall, neat, expensive watch. Dana looked kind, but her eyes were sharp, like she noticed things people tried to hide. Welcome, I said, sweet. I'm so happy you're here. Dana hugged me gently. You look better. I feel better, I said, and I meant it. Ethan slipped an arm around my waist like a proud husband in a commercial. I've been taking care of her, he said. Mark smiled. Good man. Ethan's chest puffed just a little. Always. We sat at the table, soup, bread, salad, normal smells, normal clinking forks, but my body stayed alert. Every sound felt louder. Every tiny pause felt like a trapdoor. Dana touched my hand. Ethan said you've been dealing with nausea? I nodded. Every morning for months. Ethan jumped in fast, like he couldn't stand the attention being on my pain without him attached to it. It was bad, he said. She'd wake up and run to the bathroom. I was the only thing keeping her steady. Dana's brows lifted. The only thing, Ethan laughed. You know what I mean. I handled the appointments. I tracked her meals. I made sure she stayed on schedule. Mark nodded like that was impressive. That's commitment. Ethan smiled bigger. I'm not like other guys. I took a slow sip of soup and kept my voice small. He really did watch over me. Ethan's eyes flicked to me, pleased, like I'd patted his head. I leaned into the dumb part on purpose. So, I said, tilting my head like I was curious, when I took my necklace off the other day, how did you know? The air changed, not loud, not dramatic, just a tiny shift, like the room leaned in. Ethan's smile froze for half a second, then came back too fast. What? He said, laughing. I didn't know, I guessed. I blinked slowly. But you texted me right away. Mark paused mid-bite. Dana's eyes moved from Ethan to me. Ethan chuckled, trying to keep it cute. Babe, you wear it every day. I noticed earlier, that's all. I nodded like I believed him. Oh. Okay, Dana set her spoon down gently. Why is the necklace so important? Ethan waved a hand. It's just sentimental. I smiled, soft. He says it's my lucky charm. Ethan's eyes flashed at me, warning. I ignored it. I leaned forward a little, like I was sharing a sweet story. He told me, I said, that I shouldn't take it off in public because someone might steal it. Dana frowned. That's oddly specific. Ethan laughed louder. Dana, come on. You know New York? Dana didn't smile. I know consent. Ethan blinked. What? Dana kept her tone calm but firm. If you're tracking your wife with that necklace, Ethan, that's not romantic, that's control. Mark's face tightened. Ethan? Ethan's laugh got sharper. Nobody's tracking anybody. I widened my eyes like I was clueless. Wait, it's not tracking? Ethan's jaw clenched. No, I nodded fast. Okay. Good. Then I added softly, because the day I took it off I didn't get sick the next morning. Silence. It fell heavy. Even the fridge hum sounded loud. Ethan stared at me. I stared back, sweet as sugar. Dana's voice dropped. What do you mean you didn't get sick? I shrugged, small. I don't know, I just felt normal. Mark looked at Ethan. That's strange. Ethan's smile twitched. His eyes darted up quick toward the ceiling corner. Dana saw it. Her eyes followed his glance. Then she looked back at him, slow, like she'd just found the string to a puppet. Ethan, she said quietly, do you have cameras in this house? Ethan's face stayed smiling, but his eyes went cold. Of course, he said, too smooth. Security. Dana's voice stayed calm. Did Meyer agree to that? Ethan's smile tightened. She doesn't need to agree, I'm her husband. Mark's chair scraped a little. Ethan? Ethan leaned forward, voice getting sharp now, the charm cracking. You don't understand, she's sick, she forgets things, she lies when she panics. Dana's eyes widened. She lies. Ethan snapped his gaze to me. Don't do this. I kept my voice soft. Do what? He pointed at my chest. That necklace, you messed with it. I gasped like I was hurt. No, I didn't. His smile disappeared completely. And in front of his boss and his boss's wife, he said the quiet part out loud. I gave you that necklace so I'd always know when you were being good. Dana's hand flew to her mouth. Mark stared like he'd never seen Ethan before. And Ethan, realizing what he'd just said, went pale. Then his eyes flicked fast to the corner again and he whispered almost to himself, turn it off right now. Because whatever camera was watching us wasn't just watching. It was broadcasting. Ethan's whisper, turn it off, hung in the air like smoke. Dana stared at him. Mark stared harder. I could hear the clock in the kitchen ticking, loud like a countdown. I kept my voice soft. Turn what off, Ethan? Ethan blinked fast, then his mask snapped back on like he could just reset. Nothing, he said with a little laugh. I'm just, these smart home things glitch sometimes. Dana didn't move. You just told someone to turn something off. Ethan smiled too wide. Dana, you're reading into it. Mark set his napkin down, slow, careful. Ethan, are you spying on your wife? Ethan's eyes flicked to me, a warning, a threat. A silent shut up. I did the opposite. I tilted my head like I was confused. I didn't even know we had cameras until he showed me his phone. Dana's face tightened. He showed you, I nodded. He said it was security. Ethan's voice sharpened. Because she's sick. Dana leaned forward. Did she agree? Ethan's jaw flexed. She's my wife. Mark's voice went low. That's not an answer. Ethan's charm cracked again. You could see it. His smile was still there, but his eyes looked empty, like a light turning off. He pointed at my necklace. That thing, you messed with it. I let my eyes go wide. No, he leaned closer, voice tight. You did. Mark stood up. Ethan, back up. Ethan froze like he forgot other men existed for a second. Dana looked at me, gentle but firm. Maya, are you safe? That question almost broke me, because nobody had asked it like that in a long time. Like my safety mattered more than Ethan's feelings. I swallowed hard. I don't know, I said, honest. I thought I was, then I found out I'm being watched. Ethan snapped, "You're being protected." My hands started to shake, but I kept my voice calm. Protected from what? Ethan opened his mouth. Nothing came out, because the real answer was protected from myself, from leaving, from thinking, from choosing. Dana stood up too. "Show me the cameras," she said. Ethan laughed, sharp. "No." Mark's eyes narrowed. Ethan looked at Mark like he was offended. "This is my home." Dana didn't blink. "And she lives here. If you're recording her without her say, that's disgusting." Ethan's face went red. "You don't get it," Mark said. "Explain it then." Ethan's chest rose and fell fast. He glanced up again toward that same corner like he could feel an eye on him. Then he did the dumbest thing possible. He tried to take control with words. "I kept her on a routine," he said, almost proud now. "I watched her, I tracked her because she gets emotional, she forgets things, she makes up stories." I looked down at my soup. My stomach was calm, quiet, healthy. Then I looked up and said very simply, "I stopped being sick when I took off the necklace." Dana's mouth opened. "What?" Mark's face went hard. "Ethan, what did you put in that necklace?" Ethan snapped his head toward me. "Stop." I spoke anyway. "I wore it every day. I got sick every morning. Doctors couldn't find why." I touched the pendant lightly. "Then I took it off and I felt normal." Ethan's eyes were wild now. "You're trying to ruin me." Dana's voice rose. "Ruin you? You're poisoning her and filming her." Ethan slammed his hand on the table. The bowls jumped. "I did not poison her." Silence. Even he heard how loud he was. Mark took a slow breath. "Ethan," he said like he was talking to someone dangerous, "give me your phone." Ethan laughed like Mark was joking. "No." Mark didn't smile. Now, Ethan's eyes darted around the room like he was trapped. Then he hissed, "You think you're better than me?" Dana stepped between me and Ethan without even thinking about it. "Back up," she warned. Ethan's face twisted, and then because he couldn't help himself, he said it again, louder, meaner, like he wanted it to hurt. "I gave her that necklace so she'd stay where she belongs." I felt my whole body go cold, not sick cold. Clear cold. Mark's voice dropped to ice. "We're done." Ethan blinked. "What?" Mark pointed toward the door. "You're done at work, you're done with me, you're not coming near my family again." Ethan's mouth opened, closed, opened again. "You can't." "I can," Mark said, "and I will." Dana grabbed my hand. "Maya," she said, "get your purse, we're leaving." Ethan lunged one step toward me, more panic than strength. "You're not leaving." Dana's eyes flashed. "Watch me." I stood up, slow and steady. My knees shook, but I stayed upright. I looked at Ethan's face, really looked, and I finally saw it. He didn't love me, he loved owning me. As we walked toward the door, Ethan's phone buzzed on the table, then buzzed again, and again, like a heartbeat going wrong. Ethan glanced down at the screen. Whatever he saw there drained the color from his face. Because someone somewhere had the proof now, and it wasn't going away. We left my house fast. Dana kept one hand on my arm like she could feel me shaking through my skin. Mark walked in front of us like a wall. Ethan followed behind, talking too fast, voice too sweet, trying to pull the room back under his control. "Maya, don't do this," he said. "You're tired, you're confused." "Dana, Mark, this is private." Dana didn't even look at him. "Private is not the same as secret," she said. Ethan laughed, sharp. "You're gonna believe her over me?" Mark turned his head just enough to slice Ethan with a stare. "I'm believing what you said with your own mouth." Ethan stopped in the doorway like the air hit him. Then his phone buzzed again and again. His face went blank when he looked down, like something inside him snapped. I saw the screen for half a second. It wasn't a text. It was a simple page with a little red dot and one word. Recording under it was a list of names, not strangers, not random people. Names Ethan cared about. People from his job, people from our building. People he'd smiled at and shaken hands with. People who thought he was such a good guy. His throat bobbed. "No," he whispered. Dana's eyes narrowed. "Ethan, who are those people?" Ethan's mouth opened, but nothing came out. Because now he understood the same thing I understood in my bones. He couldn't delete it. He couldn't talk his way out of it. He couldn't fix it with charm. He was exposed in the one place he worshipped most, in other people's eyes. We got into Mark's car, the door shut with a heavy thunk, and I flinched like I expected Ethan's hand to yank it back open. But he didn't. He just stood on the curb, staring at his phone like it was betraying him. Dana turned to me in the back seat, her voice softened. "Maya, you're coming with us tonight." I shook my head at first out of habit. "I can't." "Yes," Mark said, flat and final. "You can." My throat tightened. "He'll come after me?" Dana leaned closer. Let him try to explain this, let him call people, every call just spreads it wider. My stomach stayed calm, quiet, like it had been waiting for this moment for months. We drove to a hotel across town, not fancy but clean, bright lobby, cameras I could see, people around, normal life. Dana paid, Mark didn't even blink. In the elevator, my phone buzzed so hard it felt like it might burn my pocket. ETHAN, answer me. Another buzz. ETHAN, you set me up. Another. ETHAN, I can fix this. Then the one that made my skin go cold. ETHAN, come home and we can talk like adults. I stared at the screen until the words blurred. Dana watched my face. Don't reply, she said. Mark's jaw was tight. He's going to try to make you feel guilty. That's his last move. In the room, Dana sat with me on the edge of the bed. Tell me what you need, she said. I blinked because nobody had asked me that in so long. Not really. I need my stuff, I said. My documents, my clothes, my proof. Mark nodded once. We can handle that without a scene. We'll get help, private help. Building staff, movers, not a fight. I swallowed. No police. Mark didn't argue. Okay. Later that night, Gabriel called from a number I didn't recognize. His voice was steady. Maya, you did it. I didn't, I whispered. You did. Rico did. Gabriel let out a slow breath. Rico says your husband tried to shut the system down. He couldn't. My hands tightened on the phone. What did Rico do? Gabriel's answer was simple. He used your husband's favorite toy against him, that's all. Then Rico texted one line that made my chest go tight in a different way, cold and satisfied. Rico, he watched himself confess, over and over. He can't stop it. He's losing his mind. I didn't cheer, I didn't smile. I just felt something heavy slide off my shoulders like a chain unclasping. The next morning I woke up before sunrise, no nausea, no sweat, no rushing to the bathroom. Just quiet. I sat up and touched my bare neck. The necklace was gone, safe in a sealed bag far away from me. My body felt like mine again. At noon, Dana showed me her phone. She didn't look happy. She looked serious. People saw it, she said. A lot of people. My stomach fluttered, fear, then relief. And, I asked. Dana's eyes held mine. They don't see you as crazy, Maya. They see you as trapped. Mark came in with coffee and said, Ethan called me 10 times. I didn't answer. I nodded slowly. What happens to him now? Mark's mouth was a hard line. He's already bleeding out where it hurts. His image, his job, his friends, his story. I looked at the window. The city outside kept moving like it always did, like my life could keep moving too. My phone buzzed one last time, a voice message from Ethan. I didn't play it. I deleted it without hearing a word. Because the last sound I wanted from him was silence. And for the first time in months, silence felt like freedom.